Dressmakers and friends, welcome again on the channel. In this quick tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to achieve this bead embroidery on your kaftan neckline. If you have any bishop kaftan neckline like this design always works. You're going to find this video really helpful, so ensure that you give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to this channel. The first thing I did was to go ahead to get the sketch of what I really want. So once I know the sketch of what I really want, the next thing is to come on my fabric and mark it. Here is the fabric that I'll be working on. I mark it 1 centimeter apart and I make sure that the lines are longer, like the ones from the center are longer, and it reduces as it goes along the neckline, just as you have seen. All right, so after I've been able to sort out the sketch which I'm going to follow, I sorted out my beads as well. And if you are wondering how I was able to get this into a straight line, yes, I used a ruler. All right, you need your measuring tape so that you can measure the length, and you also need a ruler so that you can get a straight line. Also make sure that your fabric marker, whatever you are using to mark it, you do it faintly so that the after effect will not be so much. Okay, make sure that you mark your fabric faintly. Okay, as long as you can see it, you are good. The reason why I mark this to be really obvious is because I want you guys to also be able to see it. So on your own, if you are marking this, please don't make it too obvious. Your fabric should be marked faintly. So here are my beads. Get your matching thread and let's get right into this beading. The arrangement of this bead to sequence is going to be 4-1, just as you have seen, and I'm just going to be going in and out of the fabric. These beading stitches, I've showed it to us severally on this channel. This is just simple running stitches is what we are going to be using to get this done. So pay attention to why I'm doing this. Pick up your beads 4-1, just like that, and in your own case you don't have to stick to 4-1. Do whatever works for you. All right, pick your beads and then get your sequin if you want your sequin to actually accompany the beads, just like this one. All right, and then go into your fabric, and after going into your fabric, the next thing is choose your spacing, and then you move on to the next point, just like that. Okay, your beads 4-1, add the sequin, which is the next thing, and then you go ahead into your fabric, and then you go ahead to pick your spacing. All right, so one thing that I also need to let you know is each of these lines, this is more than one line, so definitely you need to move from one line to another. So when you get to the end of each line, ensure that you give it 1 knot or 2 knots if that's like the final point. Okay, if the thread is going to be finishing, but if you are moving on to the next, you can just do 1 knot. All right, or you can just move on to the next, just like that, depending on the strength of the fabric of that point. You can see me moving on to the next line, just as seen. So this is just a simple way for you to move on to the next line. And when you move on to the next line, remember your arrangement. The direction you are moving also determines how your arrangement is going to be. Now I am doing 1 sequin and 4 beads. Originally I did 4 beads and 1 sequin, but now that I'm changing direction, okay, I am doing the sequin first and then the beads will come in after the sequin. That way all of my beads will look exactly the same, and my sequin to bead is going to face the same direction. If you stick to picking sequin to bead and you do not do it in that reverse manner, what happens is that you're going to see that some of your beadwork will face the north and some other ones will face the south, something like that. I hope you understand. They are not going to face the same direction, and with this design you don't want that. You want everything to face the same direction. So ensure that you take this tip that I just shared with you, ensure that you take it seriously. If you have watched this video this far, I know you have gained something. So now is a good time to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you are not a subscriber already. If you also like to get detailed online fabric beading classes, yes, we offer that. So ensure that you send a WhatsApp message to this number that you see on your screen. All right, now I have just moved on to the next line, so come along with me and let's finish this neckline together. Okay, now I've just moved on to the next line, and you can see I am picking beads and sequin. Now I am moving to beads and sequin again. So by the time I am moving from this direction to the next direction, I will be picking sequin before the beads. So I'm sure that you understand this gist now. The whole essence of it is that you want your beadwork to face the same direction. Ensure that you pay attention to everything that I have said in this video. It's going to help you a lot. And if you are going to be creating this design with just the same type of beads, then you are safe. You know, with the same type of beads, you don't need to change the arrangement when you are moving to another direction. Okay, but if you are using, let's say, different color of beads at the same time, or you are doing beads and another material like sequin just I'm using, then you need to consider that arrangement. It is very important. All right, and as soon as I'm done with one line, I move on to the next line, and I'm done with one line, I move on to the next line. So when you are doing yours too, please note, when you are done with one line, just simply move on to the next line. But if you are using a very light fabric, you might tend to knot each lines before you move on to the next. Dressmakers and friends, I am sure that at this point I've given you all the tips that you need to create your own beautiful neck design. So ensure that you create yours, and when you do, please send me a picture. Use the community tab to send me a picture. I would like to see that this video has been helpful to you, and also leave me a comment if you use this video and you find it helpful. All right, so you can see that at this point I'm almost done with one side according to the markings that we did, and after this side I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I have on one side. I'm going to do it on the next. So if this is your final point, now take a look. I'm just going to knot this. All right, I'm going to knot it below here. Make sure that you knot it very nice and very tight, so that all your stitches will be well secured. You don't want your stitches ripping off. You don't want your beads cutting off. So ensure that you knot it properly like this, and you should have something like that looks like this on the first part. And when I'm done with that, I also went to the next side as well, and I did the same thing. So here is what I have after doing both end of the chest area of the neck. You can see that this is really beautiful. Like I said, this design always works. So if you have a collar, something like this with an open slit in the front, this design will always work. Here is the final look. I'm sure you enjoyed creating this with me. I'm sure you have learned something new on this channel. Don't forget, it's important, leave me a sweet comment, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you again in this next tutorial.